A McDonald's unlike almost any other in America. The very first Olive Garden. A forgotten Disney building that welcomed guests before the Magic Kingdom even opened. And an actual town built by the Walt Disney Company. Today, we're leaving the theme parks behind to uncover Orlando's most overlooked places. If someone told you one of Orlando's most unusual attractions was a McDonald's, you'd probably assume they were joking. After all, there are nearly 40,000 McDonald's restaurants around the world. Most are designed to look and feel exactly the same. But here in Orlando, two locations break almost every rule. The first sits along International Drive, up by Universal Orlando, and at first glance, it looks more like an entertainment complex than a fast food restaurant. Known simply as the Epic McD, it's one of the largest entertainment-themed McDonald's locations in the country. Step inside and you'll find arcade games and something you probably never experienced to order beneath the Golden Arches, pizza. While McDonald's experimented with pizza across the United States during the 1990s, the concept never really caught on. Most locations abandoned it years ago. But Orlando was one of the rare exceptions. Today, guests can still order freshly made pizza, Belgian waffles, pasta dishes, custom desserts, and several specialty menu items that you simply won't find at your neighborhood McDonald's. Naturally, I had to try the McWaffle and the McPizza for myself, and yes, I'm calling it research. I expected a gimmick, but both were genuinely delicious, and I'd absolutely order them again. But Orlando's McDonald's story doesn't end here. Just a few miles away, on the Walt Disney World property, sits another McDonald's that has quietly helped shape the future of the entire company. It was among the first McDonald's restaurants built around digital ordering kiosks rather than traditional front counters, helping introduce a system that has since expanded to thousands of locations around the world. I see people on the struggle bus all the time with these kiosks, and it takes so much longer to place an order. But the restaurant also pushed the company toward a more modern and environmentally friendly design, becoming one of the most energy-efficient McDonald's locations ever built. Most guests stop here simply because it's convenient. Very few realize they're eating inside a restaurant that helped redefine the McDonald's experience for millions of customers around the world. It's a perfect example of what makes Orlando so fascinating. Even something as familiar as a McDonald's can have a story that's unlike anywhere else. Orlando has always been a place where companies test new ideas. McDonald's wasn't the only brand to discover that if something worked for families here, it could work almost anywhere. In fact, one of America's most recognizable restaurant chains got its start just a few miles away. If there's one restaurant chain that has become synonymous with family vacations, it's Olive Garden. But what many people don't realize is that the very first Olive Garden wasn't built in California or New York. It opened right here in Orlando. On December 13, 1982, General Mills chose a busy corner of International Drive and Sand Lake Road to test an entirely new restaurant concept. Unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks all began here before spreading across the country. Today, if you visit 7653 International Drive expecting to find that historic restaurant, you'll be surprised. The original Olive Garden is gone. The building still stands, but over the years it has been transformed into several different restaurants and now serves as home to a Brazilian dining concept. Most people dine here without ever realizing they're inside the birthplace of one of America's most recognizable restaurant chains. Less than 2 miles away, Olive Garden tells a very different story. At 8984 International Drive sits one of the company's most important restaurants. For years, it was known as the largest freestanding Olive Garden in the world, but specifically to handle the enormous crowds generated by Orlando's tourism industry and the Orange County Convention Center right down the road. With its massive stone facade, towering entrance, and huge dining rooms, this isn't your typical neighborhood Olive Garden. What makes it even more interesting is its location. Darden Restaurants, the parent company behind Olive Garden, is headquartered just a few miles away in Orlando. That means this restaurant often serves as a showcase location where corporate executives, culinary teams, and regional managers stop in to observe operations and evaluate new ideas. In many ways, it's Olive Garden's public showroom. Olive Garden often uses this location to test out new menu items and new promotions, but most people have no idea. But before this impressive flagship welcomed thousands of guests every day, the site was home to something completely different. Throughout the 1980s and 90s, this was King Henry's Feast, one of Orlando's most beloved dinner theaters. Today, only the Olive Garden remains, but it's a reminder that Orlando is constantly reinventing itself. One generation remembers cheering for nights at King Henry's Feast, another remembers discovering unlimited breadsticks for the very first time. Both are part of Orlando's story. And Friendly's tells a different story. Unlike Olive Garden, Friendly's didn't begin in Orlando. The chain was founded in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1935, and it became the beloved tradition across New England and much of the Northeast. If you grew up in states like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, or Massachusetts, chances are you have memories of celebrating birthdays over a fribble or sharing one of those famous ice cream sundaes. There are only 2 Friendly's restaurants in the entire state of Florida, this Orlando location and one near Melbourne on the Space Coast. That makes this restaurant something of an outpost for a brand that was once a fixture across the Northeast. So why Orlando? The answer has everything to do with who's visiting. Located near the gateway to Disney Springs, just minutes from the Orlando Vineland Premium Outlets, Friendly's was strategically placed to welcome the millions of visitors who flock to Central Florida each year. Many of those tourists and seasonal snowbirds come from the Northeast, where Friendly's has been a family tradition for generations. Being one of only 2 Friendly's restaurants in the state of Florida, it raises an obvious question. How do they keep a New England favorite stocked all the way down here? The answer is surprisingly simple. While the famous Friendly's ice cream is already distributed nationwide through major grocery networks, the restaurant's food arrives through the same large food distributors that supply countless restaurants across Florida. So even though this Friendly's feels like a lone outpost, behind the scenes it's seamlessly connected to a massive national distribution network. I grew up with Friendly's, so every time I visit this location it feels a little surreal. There's something wonderfully unexpected about ordering a fish-and-majig sandwich or a honey barbecue chicken super melt while sitting beneath swaying palm trees in the middle of Orlando. For thousands of local families, it's more than just another restaurant. It's a little taste of home, and for our visitors, it's a great inexpensive option when you're tired of paying Walt Disney World food prices. If you were staying in Kissimmee driving to Walt Disney World or heading back to your hotel after a day at the parks, chances are you found yourself on Highway 192. The tourist corridor became one of the most recognizable areas in Central Florida, lined with souvenir shops, dinner shows, miniature golf courses, and attractions that competed for every vacation dollar. One of the best examples is Eli's Orange World, or as we call it, the Big Orange. It's impossible to miss. A giant orange sitting beside 192, welcoming visitors much the same way it has for decades. Originally opened during the tourism boom of the late 1980s, Orange World was built to celebrate one of Florida's original industries, citrus. Unlike many souvenir stores that simply stock the same Disney merchandise you'll find all over town, Orange World still feels connected to Florida itself. Fresh citrus is sold in season. Orange juice is squeezed on site. Inside you'll find local honey, citrus candies, marmalades, hot sauces, and products that actually reflect the state you are visiting. There's certainly plenty of tourist merchandise too, but Orange World still feels authentic in a way that's becoming increasingly rare. Continue a little farther down 192 and suddenly Subtle disappears. Standing watch over the roadway are these enormous Wizard gift shops, one east of Walt Disney World and another further west along 192. These weren't designed to blend into their surroundings, quite the opposite. They were built to dominate them. Stretching across the front of each building is a giant fiberglass wizard complete with flowing robes, a towering pointed hat, and an oversized crystal ball that drivers simply can't miss. They're loud, they're over the top, and honestly, that's exactly the point. Back in the late 1980s and early 90s, eye-catching architecture wasn't considered tacky, it was marketing. If your building made a family laugh or even wonder what was inside, you had a chance of earning their business. There's even a little 192 folklore here. Following Hurricane Charlie in 2004, local legend says that the wizard's enormous crystal ball broke free, sailed through the air, and crashed into the roof of the neighboring Orange World. I had to find out if that story was actually true. So an employee at the Wizard gift shop who was working there when Hurricane Charlie struck told me it absolutely happened. According to her, the crystal ball smashed into Orange World's roof, denting it, and despite plenty of searching, the crystal ball was never recovered. Today, the giant wizards feel like relics from another era, not the 1950s, not even the 1970s, but from the roadside tourism boom of the 1980s and 90s. Many locals dismiss them as tourist traps, and to be fair, the souvenirs inside can be found in countless other gift shops around Orlando. But whether you love them or roll your eyes every time you drive past them, they've become part of 192's identity. And just down the road, another oversized landmark has been catching visitors' attention for decades. Perched above the entrance is a giant mermaid with flowing red hair, welcoming visitors into one of Orlando's most recognizable souvenir shops. Her design intentionally avoids looking like Disney's Ariel while still capturing the fantasy of a seaside adventure. Like the giant orange and the towering wizards, the mermaid gift shop wasn't built to disappear into the background, it was built to become a landmark. Over the years, it's done exactly that. The giant mermaid has become one of the most photographed storefronts along 192, with countless vacation photos taken beneath her smiling face. It's another reminder of an era when simply getting a family to stop the car was half the battle. Before smartphones, online reviews, and GPS, these oversized characters were the billboards, bold, unforgettable, and impossible to ignore. But not every roadside gimmick became a relic. Twisty Treat took that exact same philosophy, built something no one could ignore, and paired it with something people genuinely wanted: great ice cream. And it is great ice cream, it's one of my personal favorites. Every location looks like a giant soft-serve cone rising from the roadway. It's playful, it's instantly recognizable, and decades later, it's still working. Unlike many themed businesses that struggled to evolve, Twisty Treat became more than a clever building. It became an Orlando institution. Their soft-serve ice cream has earned a loyal following among the tourists and locals, proving that memorable architecture can still succeed when it's backed by a product people genuinely love. In many ways, Twisty Treat represents the happy ending to 192's roadside story. The giant cone never stopped catching people's attention. It simply gave them a reason to keep coming back. 192 tells the story of Orlando before giant entertainment districts transformed the city. But as tourism continues to grow, Orlando's idea of bigger is better didn't disappear. It simply moved somewhere else. Hidden among the lights and energy of Universal City Walk sits something many visitors walk past without giving it a second thought: the world's largest Hard Rock Cafe. From the outside, it's hard to miss. The massive Roman Colosseum-inspired building rises above City Walk, complete with towering columns, green neon guitars, and architecture that's every bit as theatrical as the theme park surrounding it. When it opened in 1990 alongside Universal Studios Florida, it wasn't built to be just another themed restaurant. It was built to make a statement. And more than 3 decades later, it's still the largest Hard Rock Cafe anywhere in the world. Step inside and you'll find far more than burgers and cocktails. The restaurant doubles as a museum, housing one of the largest collections of rock and roll memorabilia you'll find anywhere. Stage costumes, handwritten lyrics, signed guitars, drum kits, artifacts from some of the biggest names in the music industry, including my personal favorite, the Florida Room, with memorabilia from The Doors and Tom Petty, among many others. But one display stands apart from all the others. Behind the restaurant sits an authentic section of the Berlin Wall, one of the largest publicly displayed pieces outside of Germany. It feels almost surreal to encounter a piece of world history in the middle of a themed restaurant, but that's part of what makes the Hard Rock so fascinating. It's more than just a place to grab lunch. It's a collection of stories where music history and world history unexpectedly intersect. For many visitors, it's simply a place to grab lunch before heading back into the parks. But take a little time to look around, and you'll discover one of Orlando's most overlooked collections. Long before Orlando became known for its castles, movie studios, and roller coasters, families came here for a very different kind of vacation. They came to see alligators, and one attraction has been introducing visitors to Florida's most famous reptile since 1949, Gatorland. Often called the alligator capital of the world, Gatorland opened more than 20 years before the Magic Kingdom welcomed its first guests. Back then, there was no Epcot, no Hollywood Studios, no Animal Kingdom, just a roadside attraction celebrating something uniquely Floridian. Over the decades, Orlando transformed around it. Mega resorts appeared, entire theme parks were built, millions of new visitors arrived every year. Yet somehow, Gatorland endured. Part of its success comes from the fact that it never tried to become Disney. Instead, it embraced exactly what made it different. Real Florida wildlife, up-close animal encounters, breeding marshes filled with hundreds of alligators, and enough old Florida charm to remind visitors that Central Florida's story didn't begin with Cinderella Castle. And here's a fun fact. The lush, overgrown, prehistoric-looking layout of Gatorland's natural alligator breeding marsh caught the eye of Hollywood location scouts in the early 1980s. Directors filmed specific pickup shots and swamp atmosphere for the 1984 blockbuster Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, one of my favorite movies. Just a few miles away, another survivor tells a different chapter of Orlando's history, Old Town. At first glance, many people assume it's historic. It certainly looks the part. Brick streets, classic storefronts, vintage architecture. But Old Town isn't a preserved piece of old Florida. It's an attraction built in 1986, designed to recreate the feeling of a traditional American town. When it opened, US 192 was booming. Before Disney Springs, before Universal City Walk, this is where families came after spending the day at the parks. There's restaurants, shops, live entertainment, carnival rides, everything you need for an evening out. Many of the attractions surrounding Old Town disappeared years ago. Splendid China, Water Mania, countless dinner shows, miniature golf courses, entire resorts. But Old Town kept adapting. Today, it's still best known for its weekly classic car cruises, where beautifully restored vehicles fill the streets every Friday and Saturday night, continuing a tradition that's become one of Central Florida's longest-running events. Now, is Old Town perfect? Not really. I mean, parts of it are undeniably dated, and compared to the polished entertainment districts Orlando offers today, it can feel like stepping back into another era. Celebration was never meant to be just another subdivision. Disney envisioned it as a complete community where people could live, work, learn, and gather. Today, the town of Celebration is home to 3 public schools, along with miles of residential neighborhoods that include single-family homes, townhomes, apartments, and condominiums. Parks, walking trails, neighborhood pools, and a charming downtown all contribute to a lifestyle that feels worlds away from the nearby theme parks. Although Disney no longer has full control over Celebration, it still retains control over a specific, powerful committee that oversees the town's strict architectural guidelines. There are no generic or regular buildings here in Celebration. Plus, it's home to the Walt Disney World, Disney Vacation Club, and Disney Cruise Line headquarters. Ironically, what was once envisioned as an attainable hometown has become one of the most desirable and expensive places to live in Florida. Today, Celebration is home to some of the region's most sought-after real estate, with many homes commanding prices well into the millions of dollars. It's a reminder that while Disney's original vision has evolved over the years, the community they created remains one of the most successful master-planned towns in the country. And here's a fun fact. Imagineer Joe Rohde once told me that he personally surveyed the land that is now Celebration as a possible site for Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park. Celebration is my hometown, and I can tell you it feels like you're living in a Disney movie set. And while that's pretty cool, the downside to living in Celebration is that you're completely surrounded by Orlando's tourism industry. Then there's Disney's Golden Oak. Most guests have no idea this even exists. Tucked away near Magic Kingdom and just across the street from Disney's Port Orleans Riverside Resort is Golden Oak, one of the most expensive residential communities in Florida. Instead of hotel rooms, you'll find custom-built luxury homes worth millions of dollars designed by Disney Imagineers. In fact, prices start around $10 million, but easily go up to $15 million or more. Residents enjoy concierge-style Disney services, private amenities, and a lifestyle unlike anything else on Disney property. It's a side of Walt Disney World that almost no visitor ever experiences. What's fascinating is how these two communities represent two completely different interpretations of the same idea. Celebration was built around the dream of creating the ideal hometown, part of the Epcot master plan, while Golden Oak reimagines Disney living as the ultimate luxury experience. Here comes another one of my videos that I think you'll really enjoy. Let's see if I'm right. I'll see you over there.